Hello. I don't know what happened. The previous video cut me off, but we was talking about the Hebrews, the starting of the monarchy. First Saul, then David, and then Solomon. After Solomon dies, the Hebrew kingdom is split into half. In the north, it became Samaria. In the south, it became Judah. In Samaria, they went back to their polytheistic ways of worshiping more than one God. Uh, in Judah, they continued to worship Yahweh and Yahweh alone. But uh, things were about to change. To the north arose a group of bloodthirsty people called the Assyrian. And the Assyrian invaded Canaan, Palestine, and conquered the Hebrews. Not only did they conquer the Hebrews, they destroyed the Holy Temple and carried off the 12 tribes of Israel, never to be heard of again. So no one knows who the 12 tribes and where were they taken. But recapping what I want to tell you about this, we give Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the Hebrews of this time credit for the concept of monotheism. And we also see the Ten Commandments given from Moses, and this becomes the Torah or Mosaic law. It was harsher than the Hammurabi Code from Mesopotamia. But we see the evolution of Hebrew monotheism, which creates one of the world's greatest religion, Judaism. I think one of your research questions is compare and contrast Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These are the Abrahamic religions, which goes all the way back to Abraham. Now they believe in different things, they have different holy books, but basically it goes back to Abraham and the covenant. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, the Jews were polygamous, as I've told you, just like all over the ancient world. Women are looked upon as property, so they could be, a man could have many wives. But it was their marriage, though, was looked upon as a legal contract, like in Mesopotamia, like here in America today. That's what marriage is, a legal contract. Divorce was available only to the husband. The right to initiate a divorce was denied the wife. Their teachings forbid infanticide or abortion. But here's something that I want to tell you, it's going to be on your test. 8 days after the birth of a son, he was taken to the temple where a ceremony was performed. That ceremony is called circumcision, where the priest would take the 8-year-old boy and remove his foreskin. And this was done because circumcision was considered a symbol of Yahweh covenant with Abraham. So don't forget that, the circumcision. But the Assyrians had taken the Hebrews and distributed them all throughout the Near East. They were, in the Bible, they were one of the most warlike group of people in the ancient world. They would go into a town and line everybody up and start cutting off heads and then mounting them on poles. This would lead to submission. And they also built royal roads. So if a revolt broke out in Egypt, which they had conquered, they could easily dispatch troops. The Iranians or the Persians would adopt this concept. They also came up with the concept of Corps of Engineers, people who prepare the battlefield. If you need a bridge to cross a river, they built it. If you needed something to go over a wall, they built it. The Corps of Engineers. Our Corps of Engineers in America is going to be busy today because of the damage done from Hurricane Laura. That's who prepares the levees, the dams, and other things, canals. It's the Corps of Engineers. But this concept came from the Assyrian. So, just as they appeared, they disappeared. And boy, was the Southwest Asia glad to see them go. They would be defeated by the Babylonians and the Medes. Eventually, though, another group of people, these are not Semites. They originate between the Caspian and the Black Sea along the Caucasus mountain range. The Caucasus Mountain, or the Caucasian Mountains, separates Europe from Asia. These are the Indo-Europeans, and the first group we're going to talk about would be the Persians. The Persians was organized by Cyrus the Great. He established the Persian kingdom in 550 BC, and he brought peace and prosperity throughout the Near East. Now, if you read the Bible in the Old Testament, he's the one that allowed the Hebrews to return back to Jerusalem, maintain their religion. Most of the prophets are in captivity rights under this time period, but they returned to Jerusalem. Esther is a character that you want to look up, and rebuild the temple. So not only did the Persians have tolerance of the Hebrews, but all people that they came in contact with. They allowed the conquered people to continue to enjoy their institution, religion, language, and way of life under the Persian. And so the Persian gave the ancient Near East over 200 years of peace and prosperity and security. They also gave the world a new religion. It's called Zoroastrianism. Now, in the beginning, in the Persian religion, the Iranians were polytheistic, and their chief god was called Ahura Mazda, the creator and the benefactor of all living creatures. But around 600 BCE, the prophet Zoroaster breathed new meaning into the Iranian religion. Information about Zoroaster comes from the Zena Veda, a collection of hymns and poems. Zoroaster taught that life was a constant battle between two opposing forces, good and evil. Ahura Mazda was good, and Ahriman represented evil. And each person had a choice in which side to join. Zoroaster preached a last judgment that led to a heaven, a hell. Now, my pastor talks about it, in each of us, we all have choices. He said, internally, we have a battle between the flesh and the spirit. But no one's going to make you do good. No one's going to make you do wrong. It's up to you. It's your choice. But you will be judged when you die or at Kingdom Day. But that's the concept that Christianity keeps, and this is also the concept of Zoroastrianism. That's going to end this particular chapter. I'm going to load these 3 lectures and also your study guide. Please pay attention to your study guide. It is important that you use that to prepare for your upcoming tests in the next 2 weeks. Be blessed, and I'll see you next week.